Okay, good afternoon. This is Brian with Premier Trader University and netpicks.com. Thanks for joining us today for our topic on how to scale your trading business, more contracts, more pips, and more markets. Just a few procedural things before we begin today. We want to make sure that if you have any questions, we get those answered. And Ron is going to be working behind the scenes to answer questions during the presentation portion. Then at the end, we will open up for questions. We'll announce those into the room and answer that way. So either way, if you want to ask questions throughout, and then at the end, again, we'll address everything that is open at that point. I do have Troy Noonan on with me today. Troy, you want to say a quick hello?
Yes, quick hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome.
All right, thanks. Troy's going to be interjecting throughout the presentation today. He is the author of The Trend Jumper, if you don't know that, and he's going to be showing us more about that strategy in just a few minutes. So with that, I'm going to begin. Again, if you are joining us, I am Brian Short with NetPicks. I'm joined by Troy, who's going to be talking here a little bit later on. Our topic today is how to scale your trading business, more contracts, more pips, and more markets. So with that, before we begin, though, I do have to throw the statement of a disclaimer out. We will be talking about trades today, taking trades, profiting from trades, and the potential loss of trades. And so there's risk when it comes to trading is the bottom line. And if you do it incorrectly, there's risk of a substantial loss. So keep that in mind. So here is a quick overview of today's presentation. Thanks for attending. We're going to talk about how to scale your trading business and grow it. We're going to demo the PTU. We're going to show you the strategy in action. In action today. It was a great trading day, and you're going to learn about the Premier Trader University and potentially how you can get involved in that. So that's a really quick overview of what we're going to cover today. So let me begin and just talk a little bit about NetPicks. And we go quite a ways back. We have been at this for 18 years and very active traders. One of the things I always like to point out is that we trade live each and every day. I took trades today. I know Troy traded the market today, and we're real traders and all about that. And we're real traders first. Mark Soberman is the founder of NetPicks. He's the top left. I'm Brian Short, the bottom right. And so the next slide here is what we call our Brady Bunch slide. And this is our coaching staff. Again, all active traders. TJ is on the middle left there, and Will. He is the genius behind a lot of the coding that you're going to see, the calculator and indicators on the chart. He's responsible for that. Mike Rixey, bottom left, is our stock and options guru, and Ron is on the call today. He's answering your questions. He's on the bottom right. So let me begin, and again, we want to start to talk about how to launch your trading business, so to speak, and scale it. From potentially a very small account to a big business, and what are some of the things you need to think about in that process of growing your business. So there's 5 key things that I want to share with you today, and that you can definitely consider in the process of growing and scaling your trading business. So first of all, if you think about it, there's really no other business that you can get involved in that giving yourself a raise is as simple as clicking a mouse button and going from 1 contract to 2 to 5 to 10. You're going to do the same process over and over once you master it. And but there's some key things you got to consider before you get to the point of increasing that size. First of all, you need a system that has an edge, a real trading system. Not a system. I'm sure you've seen systems out there that say 99.9% winners, right? And you and I both know that those systems have a problem, right? In that they take huge risk for a large winning percentage, and you end up wiping out your account. So we find here at PTU that the best systems really give you about a 65 to 70% win edge. All right, that means you're going to lose 30% of the time, 35% of the time. And so that's where traders a lot of times have issues on that losing side of the equation. But so again, you need a system that gives you an edge. You need to be consistent as a trader, right? You got to take each and every trade setup when it appears per your trade plan, and be very, very consistent. You have to control drawdowns, right? You need to understand drawdowns and how they affect your account. Your trading capital is the lifeblood of your business, and if it goes away because you haven't controlled your drawdown or take too much risk, then your business is closed, and that's the last thing we want. You need to have a trade plan that details everything you're going to do when you engage the market. You have to follow it diligently, exactly, and precisely, and don't deviate from it. And you got to minimize your trade time. Now, this concept might sound a little weird to you, but we have a concept that's called power of quitting. Basically, we get into the market and get out when we get our winner, and we're done. One of the worst things that can happen to a brand new trader is that he has success. You know, he might get 2, 3, 4 winning trades right off the bat. And you might say, Brian, why is that the worst thing that can happen to a trader? That sounds like the best. But the thought process goes like this. That trader eventually surmises that, hey, this is great. All I have to do is do it more, over more time. And he tries to trade 24 hours a day, thinking the more he trades, the more profit he stands to make. When exactly the opposite is true, and that's what we found to be true. And so the concept that we teach inside the university, power of quitting, is very, very much part of every trade plan. You got to eliminate mistakes. Those mistakes can really limit the edge that you have, and so it's very important that you understand and practice the trade method that you're going to approach the market with. So as I mentioned before, adding 1, 2, 3 contracts, once you earn the right to do so, is a very easy process to give yourself a raise and to scale your trading business. It's as simple as clicking a mouse button on one of the numbers here. So what I want to do next is show you a capital planning worksheet that we'll put together, which is really powerful. It's powerful in what it shows you in as far as if you let your trading account grow, and if you earn the right to go from 1 contract to 2 to 3, giving yourself the time to do so, growing your account, you're going to see here how it can grow to a very substantial amount. So let me bring up this worksheet. Again, you can download this. I put the link up there. I would wait here just a few minutes to download it, but you can go ahead and download this very same worksheet from our website. So what you're looking at here is the capital planning worksheet. In this section, we have a number of inputs that you can play around with. Again, this is assuming we have a strategy, an approach in the market that's going to give us a certain amount of profitability per day. So I'm going to start out with a $7,500 account, starting capital, and I'm going to excuse me. I'm going to start by saying we can average $50 per contract per day, and our risk, average risk on a trade, is $150. Again, these are all just averages that you can play with, inputs you can play with. The maximum number of contracts that we're going to grow to in this situation is 10. And the next section here kind of dictates what levels we're going to take profit out of the market. So this first one, the amount withdrawn once we reach $20,000. So once we grow our account from $7,500 to $20,000, we're going to pay ourselves. That's very important that you do that. So we're going to pull $1,000 out, and then for every additional $5,000, we're going to pull $1,000 out, up to a maximum of $10,000. Now, I asked that risk per trade question earlier. You'll notice that I've got that set at 2.5%. We recommend every trader be in the 1 to 3% zone on a trade, on an active daily trade type of a system. And so that's very important. If you start to escalate much higher than that, you're going to take on risk, and if you have any kind of a sequence of losers in a row, that's where your drawdown is going to come into play, and you're going to deplete your working capital. So you got to keep your risk per trade at a very, very low level. But in this case, I'm going to use 2.5%. So down below here then, let's take a look at some of the detail. And this is where the power of the worksheet really kind of points out some things. And I'm going to change the numbers in a little bit. This is just kind of a starting small account. In this section, we have some expenses that you can list. You can play around with that however you want. And then we have our trading income for the month, $1,000, net trading of $425, and our capital account has grown to $7,925. You'll notice as we go forward in month to month here, our risk per trade actually goes below the 2.5%. That's because we've grown our account. We can only trade a single contract, right? And so this is going to go out in time almost a year before we earn the right to go to a second contract. Now that might seem like a long time, but we're growing our account very slowly, right? And it's this process right here that really gives us what I call the right, the passage to go to the second account. I think too many traders, once they have success, in this area, they escalate to the second account. What does that do? It escalates the risk percentage per trade. Then, if there's any kind of a losing series at all, their account gets depleted and it doesn't grow in a good fashion. So let's slide over here a little bit, and you'll notice that once we go to 2, in a much quicker time frame here, we get the right to go to 3. So it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months to get to 3 in this case. And continuing forward here, let's get to the end. I'm going to show you the final results after 5 years. At the end of 5 years, we've pulled out $226,000. We've grown our account to $58,000. We have that in the bank. Overall, we've profited $311,000. Okay, that's all on $50 average per day. And understand that $50 average means there'll be days we'll make, more than that, and there'll be days that we make less. So that's an average. And that's all from a $7,500 account. Okay, so the point here is it can be done. Now let me do one thing here. I'm going to increase the starting capital to $10,000. One of my favorite markets right now is unleaded gas. And that's been averaging about $150 per day. Again, that's an average. And our average overall risk on that is $180. Okay, again, a single contract, starting with single contract, $10,000, 2.5% risk, nothing else has changed. Let's take a look at the numbers. Okay, you're gonna see things here escalate a lot quicker. So notice now our contracts, we get to earn the right, making a little more money, to go to 2 and 3 and 4. You see how that works? And again, the percentage across the bottom staying below that 2.5%. So at the end of the first year, we're up to our 10 contracts a month, pulling out $10,000 a month. And if we zoom out to the outside here, what do you think the final number is going to be at the end of 5 years? This is really the power of this worksheet. I typically ask for estimates. Sometimes I get estimates of $10 million, but here are the numbers. During that time, we pulled out $535,000. In the bank, we've got $1 million. And overall, we've gained 1.6. Again, this is over 5 years. But this shows you the power of letting your account grow and earning the right to go from 1 to 2 to 3 contracts, basically by having success. And too many traders, the last thing I'll point out here, too many traders want to try to pull money out right away that first month in the profit that they make. And in doing that, you don't grow your account properly. It's like taking your interest money out. You're not going to grow as quickly. So resist that temptation. If you think of it this way also, if you were to start a brand new business, would you be able to pay yourself in the first month, the second month, third month, 6, 12? Some businesses take a year or 2 years before you can actually pull money out of that business. Trading is the same thing. All right. So again, some very important concepts shown in this worksheet. Take it, download it, play around with it, apply your own personal strategy to it, whatever that might be, and some of the averages. All right, so let me get back to the presentation. Again, here's the link to download that worksheet. And so I want to continue on with a few other points here in scaling your trading business. So point number 2 is consider adding new market opportunities. There are a number of what we call time zones that can be traded. You've got the European session starting at 2 a.m. and the Forex US session starting at 8 a.m. And within that, you've got silver, gold starting at 8 a.m. Mark and I trade an account together, and we trade the DAX, silver, crude, the Russell E-mini. So the point here is you've got different markets that can be traded, different start times, and all the trade plans that we have inside the university detail this out and give you the opportunity to trade multiple markets. We always suggest that you learn and focus on one market to begin with, but then you can add additional markets. Now, this third point talks about trade zone shifts, and this concept is like the next step after focusing on a single market. You can have different shifts, so to speak, inside of a market. For instance, you've got silver futures starting at 8:20. You might be done with that market in 15, 20 minutes, or some days it'll take longer. Then you can go on to heating oil futures at 9 a.m. and the Russell E-mini at 9:30, and then the ags start at 10:30. So there's another way that you can integrate additional markets into your own trade plan. European markets, start with the DAX futures and then shift to the Euro Bund or the Forex. But one caveat here is don't be like the lady in the bottom right here, and who is trading all these markets all the time, 24/7. You definitely don't want to do that. We call this type of trading lifestyle trading. Pick the time frames that work for you the best. Number 4, think about if you're a day trader, think about adding swing trading to the mix, or if you're a swing trader, vice versa. Don't be stubborn here. If you're a Forex trader, consider futures. If you're a futures trader, consider Forex. The point I'm trying to make is look at other opportunities that you can get into that might be different than what you're doing today, but they can add additional diversity to your trading mix. And finally, point number 5, I call this the forgotten market, and it's really the trading stocks and options. And I get to this because what happens when you grow your account? And do you think you can really honestly trade 100 contracts of crude or 1,000 contracts of crude oil futures? The answer to that is no. So you have to look for other ways to diversify. And this is what big hedge funds do, right? They trade stocks. Millions of shares per day are traded in stocks across many different markets. You can also buy the options and control literally billions of dollars if you grow to that size. And this is the reason the largest hedge funds use stocks and options for their position size. So we have trade plans for stock and options inside of PTU. So to wrap up here, success starts one market at a time. Again, we recommend that you focus on a single market. And then, inside of that, you need to consider these things. You got to have a system that gives you the entry, targets, and stops always exact. Detailed trade plan showing you that. Risk management, you have to control that. We talked about, keeping it to the 1 to 3%. You've got to, again, this is eliminating mistakes, but you need the ability to handle your order management, your broker platform. Make sure you don't make mistakes. Make sure you can do that type of trading very quickly. All right, it has to be reflexive. So speed of execution is important. Talked about eliminating mistakes. And then your ability to adhere to a plan, understand your drawdowns. We talked about that a little bit. Capital is your lifeblood of your trading business. And this will all give you the ability to scale your account to new heights. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about in scaling your trade business. And so inside the university, we have all the training strategies that go into helping you, accomplish this. So with that, what I want to do is turn it over to Troy, and he's going to take us through a demo of Trend Jumper and show us a strategy that he uses to trade the markets each and every day, and basically detail how it works. So Troy, with that, I'm going to pass it over to you.
All right, great. Thank you, Brian. I love that presentation because one thing it illustrates, and this is so important when it comes to building a trade business, is that it truly is a business, and you have to think like a business person. Businesses take time to ramp up. Any startup business, a trading business, a dry cleaner, a pizza parlor, doesn't matter, right? You have to ramp it up. It takes time. And the illustration that he showed with that capital worksheet shows you the ramping in process. If you could just picture a ramp in your head, the front end of the ramp is relatively flat and low to the ground, and little by little you get that incline that ultimately kicks in, and then you hit that curve, right, where just the ramp ends up scooting upwards and upwards and upwards, and that's where you see at the end of the 5 years you've basically hit your critical mass and got your 7 figures. And so you got to think like that when you're starting out, but it starts with real smart risk, a real smart trade methodology, right? Structure on the chart so that you have a plan to trade, right? Every single trade with the Trend Jumper is its own complete trade plan. It's going to give you your target, your stops, your entries. You never have any doubt what you're doing at any given time. So let me just show you by today's example. Every time I show Trend Jumper, I like to show today. Heating oil futures, believe it or not, is a market that with Trend Jumper, even though it's considered an advanced market and you have to practice your executions and get good at it, it could be traded with a relatively small account because the average risk per trade per position is only about $100. So, you could probably start out with a $10,000 account. That might seem like a lot to some, but in the world of trading, it's nothing. $10,000 is actually a very small account. I'm going to show you, though, how you can also use Trend Jumper with a much smaller account in a little while. But let me just show you really quick how Trend Jumper works. The green dotted line here, that's called the jump line. And that's what drives the strategy, and it gives us a lot of information. It's a momentum indicator. When a setup sets up below the jump line and you see the little setups that happen below the bar, that means we're going short. So you instantly know the direction of your trade. You can see over here on the left, it's above. That means you're going long, right? Very easy, cut and dry. It's all there. By merely clicking on the bar, let's just pretend it's setting up right in real time there. This is the opening trade today. Hit our goals. Let's see, the opening trade was actually this one, the white one. Let's start with the white one. Doesn't matter. These trades signify different kinds of setups, but they all operate exactly the same way. By clicking on the bar, you see the entry. We're going to exit with one position at the middle target. As you grow your account, you can scale in and add a second position to trail. Okay, and we're going to use the jump line to trail as well. So you can see that when it hits the entry, the trade gets triggered in. We know we're going to come off at the middle target. When we get to the first target, we're going to trail. We're going to lock in a tick. We're going to take the risk off the trade. The stop's going to move down, and we'll have a risk-free position. So the Trend Jumper wants to put you in as many risk-free positions as possible, and it does that really quickly and aggressively. Okay, and you could see how it came down, hit the target, and then you could trail the green dotted line even further. Now, I want to show you a couple things before I go on to the next example. Trend Jumper is designed with a favorable risk-reward ratio, okay? And this is really important when you're trying to build your business, because if you take a loss, you want to be able to recover really quickly. Well, what's most of these trades, and specifically with momentum bars, but with the heating oil, you can see that you've got pretty much a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio. So even if you lose 2 trades, you're practically at break even with just 1 trade if you're trading a single position, you see. The other thing is that this is the standard Trend Jumper, but when you join the PTU, the university, Trend Jumper actually comes with the Pro version. Let me turn that on. Pro version has built-in trade tracking. Whoops. And a lot of really neat things which we're going to tell you about. But now you can see that the stop moves down, locks in at risk-free, and continues to trail down. And Trend Jumper actually knows when that trade is finished. It's really cool how that works. So that is a basic look at the Trend Jumper, and I just taught you about 80% of the strategy in, what, 3 minutes? That's how simple it is. Let me show you a few more examples here. And I'm going to focus my examples on markets you could trade with small accounts. Okay, another great example of how beautiful this works is with the Russell. I mean, this is the same strategy. I didn't really change anything except the symbol. You could see how it works. You could, again, see the entry, the break-even level, the full target, how it trails on up, how it trails on down, okay? And it's basically the identical strategy. In fact, I'm going to show you a lot of the identical strategy. Another market that we always like to show, this very popular market, can be traded with a small account, maybe even as low as $5,000, is the Dow E-mini. And the Dow E-mini, I'll just show you, looks really choppy in here, doesn't it? I mean, you come into a session like this, looks really choppy. You see a lot of setups, but we don't take all of them. We focus in on the setups that are specific to a trade plan. All our trade plans have rules that we follow. So in this case, we're starting at 8:32 Central, right? That's 9:32 Eastern. That's 2 minutes after the market opens. We have a short setup here. It doesn't trigger in until this bar. It gets down to the risk-free level, right? Right down there. You can see how the stop moved down to lock in a tick right there at the edge of the chart, and it stabs down and hits the target right on the nail. It's amazing how accurate some of these trades are. We see this all the time. It's just uncanny how it just knows where that target's going to be. And then look what happened. It went right up the other way. See? And again, a real choppy market. But in just one trade, we're making 22 or 21 points. I forget exactly what it was. Close to 21 points. At $5 a point, you're already double what that $50 per day per contract average is. Actually, this is a 2-contract approach, so $100 is $50 per contract. So that one trade gets you, that's your goal, right, for that first example that Brian showed you. There's a lot more trades that, you can definitely keep trading if you want, but you don't need to. Remember, you're trying to ramp up your business, so you stick to a trade plan that gets you to your goals, and you move your account along day after day. So we incorporate this concept called the power of quitting. Another quick example of a market you could trade with a small account is the NASDAQ E-mini. I like to use a 610 tick chart. The NASDAQ E-mini is only $20 a point and $5 a tick. Again, starting at the same time, right around 8:30, 8:32-ish, the first trade comes in at 8:41, and look at it, it's the exact same strategy. You can see it hit the money management. You can see the stop locking in, and it begins to trail. And the first trade, again, a full winner, and you even pick up more on the trailer, and you're done, one and done. You move your account along, on to the next market. Another market that you could trade with a small account are the grains. Brian mentioned some grains, soybean futures. So let's see, soybeans at 8:30 this morning, which is the Central Standard Time. There was a comment by someone a moment ago that grains start trading at 8:30. With Trend Jumper, that is when we start soybeans. Here we are at 8:30, right on the nail, and the trade triggers in. It zooms up, and it hits the money management. It comes down, stops out for one tick. But in less than a minute, we can get in another trade. That one pops up and hits the full target. You could even trade a third position to the bigger target. Again, the accuracy of these targets, right? And then the trailer, and literally in, 17 minutes? 17 minutes, and you're done with soybeans with over 5 points at $50 a point. The equivalent to the S&P, but much easier to get your profit objective. All right, so I could show you a lot of futures, but I want to jump over to Forex because we don't have a lot of time, and I want to give you a good cross-section. I think what I'll do, well, first of all, for those of you who want to really slow it down, you can trade with micro lots, 10 cents a pip, and it may not seem like a lot, but I'm going to show you that it's a tremendous amount. First of all, I'm going to show you this. With the end-of-day charts, here's one of the 12 pairs I follow. It's just produced many thousands of pips over the last 2 years. With the Forex, we're able to take profit at target 1, target 2, target 3, and scale. So you could start out with 1 micro, and that's, some hundreds of pips, right? So it may not seem like a lot, but you could build your account up. Eventually, you build it up to where you can put on 4 micro lots. That's 40 cents a pip. And just by going to that first target, you're getting a 1-to-1. By going to the middle target, approximately 1.5 to 1, and approximately 2 to 1 risk-reward ratio, and then you can trail. Okay, we also add to our position. And we teach you this in the university. But what I love about this is you could scale with a small account. You could follow a dozen pairs or even more if you want for real good diversification, and it only takes about 15 minutes a day of your time. That's it. One of the things, you saw the lady in the slide, that's a zombie trader. She's 24/7 in front of her computer. That's how a lot of Forex traders go about their business. That's no way to trade. With this approach, 15 minutes a day. That's it. Sometimes even less. I'll show you more examples of that later if we want. I want to show you some other Forex. Before I do, I'm going to show you some stocks and options. 2 of my favorites, the Spider. Talk about the S&P. You want to trade the S&P in a real simple way. You could trade this custom Trend Jumper plan because with the Trend Jumper Pro, we're able to customize and really work these strategies. This one has won 77% over the last 10 years, and that's when I made the slide way back here. And since then, it's won a few more, and that number's gone up to 78%. And you can see the last trade right there. But if you wanted to trade options, you just merely take the entry, find a strike price that's a little bit in the money, and focus on options with enough time, right? We teach you this and how to do it, and the proper delta. And that's it. You buy simple calls and puts, and you let the underlying symbol guide your options trading. And like that, you can control 100 shares of a $187 stock for pennies on the dollar and very little risk. And you can get the great leverage with small risk and really lock in some double and triple digit percentage gains on a steady basis. And just to give you an idea of how powerful this is, here's a performance report. You can see it did $151 per share over 10 years. The winning percentage has actually gone up. It's got a profit factor of over 4, and that just gives you an idea of the equity curve. Very little drawdown. This is a plan that's been in action for over a year, so it's been forward testing since then, keeps hitting new profit levels, and this is the kind of thing that we see with Trend Jumper. And Brian, I'm assuming you could see this chart, right? Let me know if you can't. Another thing I'll show you since we're on these these stock options here with some of these E-mini ETFs is the Dow. Here's the ETF for the Dow. And again, you can see a nice winner. This one also winning almost 70% over 10 years, but some really big winners. You can see the principle of getting to risk-free and the trailer and the huge gains that you can get. Imagine buying an option and being able to scale out at the different target levels and hitting those trailers. And even when we do lose, the losses are controlled, but you could see This one's made $105 per share, 2.55 profit factor. It literally is making $1.22 per share per trade over 10 years' time. That's just an average net. A little bumpier than the S&P, but you can see it recovers, and it keeps recovering. And looking like it's poised to make new equity highs at any time here. So I'm going to jump over now to some of the cool other custom plans, because there's really a lot to show you, maybe more than I can show you now. So I'm going to maybe show you 2 or 3 more examples. There's some really great 4-hour Forex charts that are working really well. The Aussie US, for example, it's customized. It looks kind of weird. I'm showing more trades than I need to because I like to see some of the optional trades here, but you don't need to. You can turn them off. But just to give you an example, this one is dating back to 2011, right? So over 3 years, nearly 300 trades. It's winning over 2/3 of its trades. It's got a profit factor of 2.1. It's making $213 per trade, right? That's depending on what size account you're trading. You know, you could factor that in, and pretty decent looking equity curve there too. It's just sitting right off its equity highs. And there's plenty of examples, and there's more to come. I think what I'm going to do next, though, is show you one more example, and then I want to show you a spreadsheet, another way of looking at scaling your business. Let's see, I want to show you the EJ. It's the 5-minute chart. We trade this every day, and this is one, if you have a real small account and you want to day trade Forex, this is a look at the brand new Trend Jumper Pro tools that were coming out. It's the Pro Plus, and we're going to talk about this in a moment. But this takes the trade plan that we do every day in the trade room and actually moves the stops, does things that we have normally done manually. And so the first trade, literally, look at that. We go to the middle target. Again, the accuracy of these targets, right? And then look what happens on the way down. And the reason why I wanted to show you this is because some of you may know that I use a spreadsheet called the UTA. It's a trade log that I use to track all my trades. And built into this spreadsheet is this really cool tool that's called the Fixed Fractional Money Management Strategy. And I want to show you how you can take a $2,000 trading account, right? We were showing you much larger accounts. $2,000 for those with real small accounts, trading a micro lot, 10 cents a pip, right? So I got these settings in here. This is a 3-position approach, okay? So I'm putting 2/3 of 1% risk on each position. So about 2% totaled up with the 3 positions. And if I put 2% risk on every single trade that happened between, let's see, I forgot. Oh, yeah, between the beginning of 2013, I think, to the end of January of this month is what I ran this test for. Let me show you something. If you did not leverage up and you just stuck with your 1 micro lot per position, you would have turned $2,000 into $2,800 using just 10 cents a pip, right? So what's that, about 80 or 90%? Actually, what's that, about a 40% growth, give or take, in 13 months, right? 40%, 13 months. Wall Street careers are made with, if you can do 10%, right? So there's 40%, and that's just with one position. Imagine if you use the Fixed Fractional Money Management Strategy, putting 2% on every single trade. You literally would have traded up to 198 micros per position. That's 1.98 full-size lots, right? And you would have turned $2,000 into $50,000 in as little as 13 or 14 months, using the same principle that Brian showed you, right? Brian showed you from a bigger level, just from pure account balance size. I'm showing you trade for trade for trade, including wins, losses, bad days, good days, just following the trade plan, sticking to a proven plan with the Trend Jumper. $2,000 to $50,000, and you're not even at 2 full-size contracts per position. Not yet. Imagine what year 2 is going to look like. Imagine what year 5 is going to look like. Starting with a 10-cent per pip trade plan. You see the power of all this? This is what we teach in the university. And I want to hand this back to Brian now, even though I've got a zillion more examples to show you, because we want to show you what's new with the Trend Jumper and what you can look forward to coming up. So Brian, back to you.
All right, thanks, Troy. And yeah, we could chat for hours. Unfortunately, we don't have that much time. So I'm going to go ahead and take the screen back from you, Troy. And maybe at the end, if there's anything else you want to show, we can do that at that point. So 1 second here. I need to get back to my PowerPoint. All right, so let's cover really quickly the program details for Premier Trader University. I want to spend the next few minutes just kind of taking you through the process that we found works the best in delivering to you what I would call very high quality training. We've had a lot of members go through this training and have some really, really good success. So first of all, we start out with what we call the prereq. And the design of the prereq, you have access to this immediately once you sign up with PTU. And it's basically content that has been developed by all the coaching staff, including myself, Will, Troy, Mark. We have spent lots of time putting this material together. It's information that basically sets the foundation for your trading. If you're a brand new trader especially, this is going to give you good information on what markets to consider for yourself. What broker should you be looking to use? Charting basics, interpreting the charts themselves, and some shortcuts there. What platform should I use? We're going to talk today about TradeStation, NinjaTrader, MetaTrader. What are the pros and cons of each of those trade platforms? Technical analysis, we'll talk about that, the pros and cons, the good, the bad. And then some important concepts like risk management. You've heard me allude to that today, but we go into more detail. Trade psychology, very important in the trading process, how that can affect your trading. And, of course, how to, develop your own trade plans. We provide a lot of trade plans inside the university, but what if you want to take the next step and develop some of your own? So that's the prereq part of the university. Again, this is content that you'll get right away. We want you to go through it and be at the same base level once we get to the very intense 3-day training portion of the class. So next is and this is day 1 of the trading. This is really the core of the strategy that Troy just showed you. And in this day, we're going to talk about the software, the indicators, the calculator, the different settings inside of it. We're going to go through the strategy nuts to bolts and show you everything about it and how it works on some of these different markets that we've listed here. On the Forex side, we trade obviously the common currencies, the euro, the pound, but some of the more obscure ones that you may not have heard of are actually more profitable. And so we cover that. On the futures side of the equation, all the common futures markets, the Russell, crude, DAX, wheat, soybeans, we have trade plans for each of those markets. Continuing on the undergrad portion, one of the things, if you're a current Trend Jumper owner, you have access to our live room that we do twice a week. And you can come into that. You pay an ongoing fee for that. Inside the university, there's no charge. And not only that, we give you access to the VIP part of our live training each week. So you'll have 4 sessions where you can come in and watch Troy go through the process of trading this strategy. And I think that probably is one of the more important things. As you develop your training and your ability to trade the markets, repetition and being able to follow someone that does this day in and day out is really, really important. So we now give that to you at no additional charge inside the university. Um, this just is a snapshot of the training, how it works. The great thing, for the first time ever, we are going to do this training live and in person. You have the option to come see us live. Troy's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Mark is going to be there. And Will's going to be there. And then you can interact with us live, or if you can't attend, no problem. This is the format we use. This is Omnovia. Very interactive. You can ask questions, and you see the presenter's screen. This is the tool we use to actually train you. Now, let's talk about the next level, day 2. We call that the graduate level. And this is where some of the advanced features that Troy was talking about come in. For those of you on Trend Jumper, this is new. This is brand new stuff, and we're really excited about this because it's going to take you to the next level. It's going to cover, some of the things behind the scenes, the why and the where of the strategy, how it works and why it works. And it's going to build a strong foundation for you going forward in your own personal trading. Next, continuing with the graduate level here, and maybe Troy, if you want to get on and talk about some of these things really quick, so, some of these bullet points that you've covered here in the boot camp and how that's benefited some of the traders.
Yeah, sure. We've done these boot camps now several times, and it's always just it's amazing the response we get. We cover a lot of in-depth stuff. A deeper understanding of the strategy is the primary thing, and with that comes a lot of specifics. We focus on best trades, learning what to avoid and what to focus in on. There's new filters. We talk about how to use them, what the pros and cons are. Some interesting methods in dealing with FIFO. If you're an American Forex trader dealing with the first in, first out, kind of a pain in the butt. There's a technique called off the line, which I talk about, tips on dealing with stops and reversals, and then some specialty trades, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit, and a lot of in-depth training, of course, on advanced Forex trading, gap opens, and fine-tuning, and this is just the tip of the iceberg.
All right, thanks, Troy. So continuing here with the additional features you get, the next one is the Pro Calculator. And to me, Troy, I know you use this every day. This is really, really a big bonus. It's going to take a lot of the heavy lifting and put it right on the chart for you. So, Troy, I know you track a lot of markets every day in your room. Would you do that without the Pro Calculator?
No, I mean, when we have brand new members, I'll open up a chart or two with the standard because that's all they know what to look for, and I find myself having to work a lot harder because I'm looking at 6 to 8 charts at any given moment, trying to track and call trades on all those simultaneously. The Pro Calculator is what makes that possible because go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to just say, I know Will and you have worked on this tirelessly. I know there's thousands of lines of code that have been added to perform some of these functions. So again, it does a lot of the heavy lifting for you in these key areas.
Yeah, I mean, some of the trade plans will call for minor key level adjustments, which we teach, and it may not seem like much, but these little details make a huge difference, along with knowing when and how to move your stop. Sometimes you forget. I mean, there's a rule that says, yeah, it has to hit the first target, but it also has to go 10 ticks, because sometimes you get a small trade. If you try to get to break even too soon, you just got caught up in some market noise, and you don't give the trade doesn't have time to develop. But the Pro Calculator actually knows this, and so you can just lean on it and rely on it. It's one less thing you have to think about, and you can just focus on your executions, and that makes a huge difference.
All right, next I want to talk about Trade Assist, and I know our first webinar we covered this pretty in depth, so if you want more information on Trade Assist, I would encourage you to go back and listen to that replay. But with that said, this is really a powerful tool, and it can be used in a number of ways. Mark and I use Trade Assist each and every day to semi-automate our own trading. And I use the word semi-automate because the last thing we want you to do is turn on Trade Assist and walk away. So we use it to basically place our trades. We're constantly monitoring whether those are correct or not, and where the strategy is, and then making sure that lines up. And so it's a great tool for that. It's also a great tool for testing ideas that you're going to have. You might have an idea to start at 6:30 in the morning on a market. So all you do is plug those parameters in and see how it does. And you can very quickly assess whether that idea is worth pursuing further. So it's a great tool in that regard. And here's what it looks like on the chart. It basically shows you the entry point, the exit. It gives you figures like total profit, gross profit, profit factor. Those are all key things that you want to know in evaluating ideas, and so it's a great tool for that. So, and here is the third and final day of training, and we call this the doctorate level. And this really is the culmination. I know Troy has worked tirelessly on this. These are some additional features inside the trend jumper that no one has at this point. Things like what about going to the third position on targets, and initial stop controls, advanced tools, trailing stop, different trailing stops that you could apply to your trade plan. Just numerous tools added to the trend jumper. And one of the keys we find when it comes to trading is when you're looking at a trade plan, you need to make it your own. You need to invest in it, understand it, and sometimes what we've set up, you might not want to do. You might want to add something just a little bit different, and that's what this particular day of training is going to show you, how you can make your own trade plans. The next slide here is really exciting to us, and this is the first time ever. We've had a number of PTU members go through this process, and you might say to me, Brian, this all sounds great, but I don't have any capital to trade. Well, we've solved that. We now have a roadmap for you to get involved, get stakes, and potentially trade a $50,000 account after you've had some success. Okay, and here's the key. There are metrics you have to follow, and we've got the trade plan set up for this. And once you adhere to those metrics, you have the ability to trade other people's money and take the 80% of the profits home with you, so to speak. So this is a great way to get involved if you have limited funds. One of the other things we teach inside the university is, there's the mechanical trading, just trading straight off the strategy. But then there's adding, chart level adjustments, what you see on the chart. There's just no way that automation can look at all these different factors, but there are sometimes things just on the chart that are glaring, highs and lows of the day kind of thing. And adding that to the mix can really significantly improve your results. We teach that inside the university. In some cases, it's 168%. In some cases, it doesn't make a big deal, like in natural gas, 4%. But the bottom line here is adding additional profits by giving you that training is one of the keys. So here are a few of the feedbacks that we get. We get this just about every day. I know Troy is shooting me feedback a lot of times from his room, but very, very common stories from individuals that have gone through the PTU course. So here it is. Let's talk about the schedule of classes. Again, you have access immediately to the prereq course. We want you to go through that. And then on April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, we'll have the undergrad course on the first day, the graduate course second, and the doctorate course on the third day. If you want to attend live in person, we're going to be doing this live from Los Angeles, and or you can do it from the comfort of your office or home via Omnovia. So either way you want to do it. We do have limited seating on the live portion, so as soon as you sign up and you realize you want to attend live, we do need to know that. So here's what you get, and really we put a value on this. There's just a lot of value in what we're going to offer. It's not going to cost you $17,000, but there's been a lot of development, years, literally years, to get to this point. So you're going to get all the indicators, trading calculators, that do the heavy lifting for you. I've talked about the pro calculator, the exact entries and exits, the self-paced home study, the prereq course, 3 days live, pretty intense training in Los Angeles if you want to attend live in person or via your location wherever you might be at. Trade plans on dozens of markets. I've shown you that. And then the lifetime white glove customer and tech support. I think we have the best in this industry customer support. Ron works tirelessly with customers, Will, myself. It's our goal to see you be successful, and we do everything we can in that regard. Now we realize that you want to understand what your risk is here, and so we put out here a 45-day risk-free guarantee, but we do ask that in return you go through the process here. You review the prereqs, you attend the live class or listen to the recordings. You have to install the indicators and make at least 25 trades. If you do all that and you are unsatisfied for any reason, you can return at the end of 45 days. All right, so here we go. Here's the fee structure, the tuition, so to speak. For new customers, brand new customers, it's a one-time fee of $39.97, or you can do 4 monthly payments of $9.99. If you have purchased Trend Jumper, you can get involved in the PTU for $29.97, one-time fee. And then finally, moving to the far right here, we always like to give what we call a family discount for those of you that have been involved with us, our loyal NetPicks customers. And so that structure applies also to Trend Jumper. You will get an additional $500 off by using the code 500 off when you sign up. So your final price would be $34.97 for a new customer, or $24.97 for a Trend Jumper customer. All right. So the link to get going today, let me get you that, is netpicks.com/enroll. And the key here is you can't click on the screen. You've got to type that into your browser. I will also post it out. You can click on the chat. I just put the link out into chat. And with that, that is the final part of our presentation. So with that, I'm going to go to questions. And Troy, so be ready on the mic here for any final questions that come up. Oh, there is one other thing I want to cover. One more thing. And let's talk a little bit about the Trade Station Scholarship Program, which, again, is a great way to get involved and get the cost of your tuition reimbursed. It works very simply. You have to open up a new TradeStation account in either a futures account or a stock and options account, and they will rebate back 20% of the commissions on all trades up to the total amount of what you paid in tuition. So it's a great way. They have some additional bonuses that you can talk to them about. A lot of times they run specials, and they give you, a lot of time free before you even have to make that first real trade, which is important too. So all the detail of that is inside the university. Who to contact, how to get that set up and going. So let me get back to the link here. I want to post that, and let's go to questions, any unanswered questions at this point.
Brian, people want to see the pricing again?
Yep, no problem.
Put that slide up?
Yep, I can definitely put that up. So there's the pricing structure again. And when you go to that form, you're going to see the page, and you'll just click on the button that applies to you. Let me tell you this, we will check. If you say you're a family member, my admin, Cheryl, is going to check and make sure that you have, in fact, been a prior family customer. So we will double check that just to make sure. And so let's go to questions at this point. And I'm reading down through here what hasn't been answered at this point. Pierre's asking, on the 45-day, does it start after the completion of the 3-day seminar? Yes, it would definitely start after that point in time. Lou's asking, I already have a TradeStation account, no discount, correct. Yeah, the thing on the TradeStation is it has to be a new account. Now, there's some things they can work with you on. I would encourage you to contact TradeStation, the contact that we give you in there, and he will work with you. Maybe you can set up a new stock account, or it's possible they might be able to arrange something. So I would encourage you to connect with them. Let's see. Ron's asking, are monthly payments available for the family plan? Unfortunately, no. I think we have a 4-pay available for the family plan. So it's not monthly. Well, it would be monthly, but it's 4-pay. So that should be a radio button right inside of that particular pay plan. Glenn asking a good question here. If you have NinjaTrader, do you need TradeStation? Does Ninja work just as well? And I should have mentioned that. Yes. So the platforms that we support with PTU are TradeStation, NinjaTrader, and MetaTrader. But keep in mind, on MetaTrader, you're limited to Forex, okay? Because MetaTrader is typically associated with Forex. Now, there are some obscure little futures that you can trade. I know you can trade gold and silver, those kind of things inside of MetaTrader, but for the most part, you are limited to Forex only on MetaTrader. So yes, either Ninja or TradeStation will work fine.
Brian, you should also mention with MetaTrader, you're limited to the Trend Jumper Standard. You're not getting the Trend Jumper Pro. You're not getting PTU.
Right. Yeah. If you get involved with PTU, you're going to definitely want TradeStation or NinjaTrader, either one of those.
Another thing is with NinjaTrader, there are some brokers that offer discounts that are so dramatic that just what you save on those discounts will end up paying for the price of PTU also. It's just, basically semantics. So if you're on NinjaTrader and you like NinjaTrader, you're fine staying with NinjaTrader.
Glenn asking a great question here, and his question is, the 3-day seminar will be recorded as well. Yes, definitely. And so let's talk about that a little bit. I spoke with someone yesterday who can't attend day 1, but they can be there, and they're actually going to come live day 2 and 3. So you can go back and replay, and that's even beneficial if you've gone through the first 3 days. We're going to throw some pretty good information to you over that 3-day period, and you can go back and repeat and rinse, so to speak, as many times as you need. So yes, we will be recording those sessions. Delilah saying she lives in California, so that would be great. We would love to see you in person, Delilah. Can you hit again on the possibility of trading with increased capital? So, Jeff, I think you're talking about getting funded, the slide that I showed where you can get funded up to $50,000. Is that what you want to know more of? Okay. Yeah. We're going to show you a path, basically, how you can get funded. Now, I want you to keep in mind there are certain metrics you're going to have to live up to in what's called a combine. It's like a pre-test, so to speak. So you got to prove to the entity that you can trade and be successful, and they're going to look for certain metrics in that process. And once you get through that proving process, then they're going to fund you with real money. And so we're going to show you the pathway to get to that, and then there'll be some additional training that you can take advantage of if you so choose. So we're pretty excited about offering that, and we're excited to see some of the members take advantage of that and get through the process. Question being asked is a current PTU student, will I have access to the upcoming 3 sessions at no charge? There is a small charge for the 3 days, but what I would encourage you to do is send me an email, and I think it's on one of these slides. My email address is brian@netpex.com, and I'll address that for you. So let me get down here. I think one of these slides has my email address right there. So let me just keep this slide up for a little bit. If you want to talk to myself or Troy or any of the staff, you can feel free to give us a call. There's our direct number. Here's our support email, support@premiertraderuniversity.com. And my email's up here. If you want to contact me directly, feel free to do so. Silvana, again, you're asking about what's the deal if you're a current PTU student. Give me an email. There's going to be a small fee. It's because we're giving so much away. We're giving you access to the Trade Assist and the boot camp and so forth. There's a small fee to take advantage of it.
And all the new pro tools.
And all the new pro tools, exactly. Keith saying, you've been with NinjaTrader for a while. It's hard to transition to TradeStation. It looks great way to be able to get into all the markets. Keith, you don't need to. You can stick with NinjaTrader. There's no reason you need to transition. It's only if you want to. So I would say stay with NinjaTrader.
Brian, a question about just going over again what they get, what comes with.
Sure.
What is the 3 days? And
yeah, let me kind of go over that. I know I went pretty quickly through that, and so let me go back to that slide. So again, let's just go down through some of these key points. You get the trend jumper and access to the prereq videos that we talked about. That training, 16 hours. The undergrad, graduate, doctorate level courses. I mean, I can go back to those slides. They detail out a lot of the different things that are important. All the indicators, the ProCalc, the automation, and the new ProCalc that does a lot of the work for you right on the chart, showing you the exact entries, stop movements. The 3-day live recorded course on April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Many, many, many different trade plans.
Brian, I'm sorry. Could I pause you for a moment?
Yep.
Just go back. Let me just talk a little bit about that first bullet point, okay? Because there's a lot in there. That prerequisite, first of all, is a lot of really great content that all the coaches put together, and you get access. And we're going to want you to probably go through that even before the boot camp starts. But once the boot camp starts, we're going to cover everything. Mark's going to go over the PTU strategy in great detail. He's going to go over using automation in great detail. I'm going to go over the trend jumper as if you just opened it for the first time and give you a crash course from nuts to bolts, starting from the very first step, so that you're going to hear it, see it, and be taught it, just right there. And then, though, we're going to take it to the next level, because after that, then we're going to get into the pro calculator, everything that it can do, all the inputs, all the power that you have, why you want to use it, all the other stuff that we cover in the boot camp, which includes a lot of advanced stuff. Okay, I talked about some of it, but you're also going to have access to boot camp recordings from the past. Not only that, but then we're going to spend a final day going over all these amazing new pro tools that are brand new to the trend jumper, including, and nobody even knows this yet, and I've been waiting to announce it, but the new measuring stick trade that you see me do in the trade room that we talk about all the time, that's actually going to be a trade setup now that you can turn on and off inside the calculator with brand new trade plans on how to utilize it. I mean, that's huge. Just that alone is worth the price of admission. And again, Brian, I'll give this back to you, but I just wanted to give them a taste of some of the things that we're going to be going over this round of PTU.
No, I know we've thrown a lot of information at you guys today, and we're excited, and a lot of times we know what it is, but it needs to be explained a little further. So I appreciate that, Troy. Thanks. So let me get back to the sign-up link really quick here and continue on with any questions that you might have. Go ahead and put that into the chat. Robert asking, is the boot camp available to former boot camp members? So Robert, no, it won't be, because it's inside the university. But if you sign up, send me an email if you want to sign up for PTU, and we can talk about the pricing for former boot camp members.
Yeah, Brian, didn't we talk about them not having to pay additional, but actually getting the credit towards whatever they paid for the boot camp goes right to the PTU?
Yeah, it does. So
you don't lose anything.
You won't lose anything. Exactly. Let's see what other questions we have here. We're coming to a close here, so a few final questions, and then I think that's going to be it. Let's see.
Question about reoccurring costs, Brian.
Yeah, good question. That's the great thing about the university is there really is no reoccurring cost. The only thing that would go reoccurring is the automation and the trade assist. We're giving you 90 days of trade assist. After that, I think it's $297 if you want to continue using that tool. But everything else, the rooms, the access to the owners club, is all no additional charge going forward. So,
And there's a lifetime option for the trade assist as well, is there not?
There is, and we can discuss that at that point. I mean, after the 90 days, you can send us an email. We can have a conversation about that.
Yeah, it's better to know if you even need it or want it and then decide, because
Right.
we're giving you plenty of chance to make the best decision that's right for you, and you don't have to make it until you know for sure. So I wouldn't even worry about it.
Right. So I know there was a question on talking with us. Here again is the contact information. Who was asking that? Josh was asking about getting in contact. So again, you can give us a call toll free or at the 214 number. And there's my personal email address, Brian at NetPicks, and our support email. Trying to do the 500 off to enroll, not working. Glenn, as far as I know, it's been working on all the forms. If for some reason it comes through and it's not working, we can definitely get that taken care of. But that hasn't been a problem to this point. And let's see, hotel where the live event will be held. Ron, go ahead and give him the link for that. It's going to be at the Courtyard Marriott in LAX. So really easy to get to. You don't even need a car. If you stay there, you can get to and from the airport via shuttle. All right, Troy, I do hear you keying away there.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm just trying to think. We'll make reservations now. Okay, Delilah, that's great. Great to have you on board. And let me see here. Ron is saying. Oh, right. Ron's saying on the payment plan. Let's see, for the 500 off. Okay, well, we'll see. The payment plan, I'm not sure if that gets the 500. And John saying he signed up yesterday. Great to have you on board, John. And I think that's pretty much all the questions. I'll hold the mic open here for just another few seconds. If there's any final questions that you want to ask, go ahead and do so. Again, I want to thank you for being here today. Troy, I want to thank you for being on the call today. And we'll be doing another one of these on Thursday. If you want to join us again, feel free to do so. Or, again, if you want to chat with either myself or one of the coaches, feel free to give us a call. Let's see, Troy. Let's see, when will we host the next PTU? Short notice for airfare. Yeah, I agree, Brian. It is short notice. I was actually looking at booking my flight last night, and it is a little bit short notice. We will typically do these classes about once a quarter, is what I will say. Start time on the first. Tony's asking when we'll start. We're probably right now tentatively going to start around 7 a.m. Pacific time. So that'll be 10 a.m. Eastern Standard. Okay, that's the rough start time. That's subject to a little bit of a change, but we have to start kind of early out on the West Coast so that we can kind of get everything done in in the day. All right. So Glenn asking if subsequent classes are included. Yeah, that's a great question too. Once you become a PTU member, going forward, there's very minimal cost. We deliver a lot of updates and strategies, and have done so from the very beginning. We've been at this now. The university's been open for 3 years. And when we make enhancements like we have, a lot of times those are at no additional charge. In some cases, there's a small charge for like Trade Assist, the boot camp, which are kind of above and beyond the university. But that's the answer to that question. Emma asking, do we trade the markets on the 3-day course? Well, we don't trade live. We'll look at the markets because we're going to be delivering a lot of information on the strategies. We don't want to, actually take live trades, so to speak. We'll definitely look at the markets as we're teaching, but our focus really is on the strategy and the implementation of that. All right. I think that is the last question from Emma. And again, I want to thank you for being here today. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out and contact us. We'd be more than happy to speak with you. Again, thanks to Troy for being on the call today. Have a great rest of today. And again, join us on Thursday if you would like. We'll do another presentation on the PTU University. Have a great day.